everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Dead Pixels of the Internet. This is episode 438, and Lorne's apparently out in traffic, just cursing at the people stalling him or something.
Yep, you know it.
So yeah, this is episode 438 of the Dead Pixels
This is Lorne.
And Joe. We should be in a hotel room right now, just kicking back and relaxing and enjoying some fun activities, but we are not doing that.
No, well, technically, we are at ASIN, so the streak is still alive for me.
Virtual?
It's virtual ASIN's going on, so if anyone is missing, right now you can go on asin.com.
Yeah, just look at stuff through the virtual field. Oh, hello. Oh boy. And we're resuming back into this thing. Anyways.
Woo! I'm back.
So yeah. We should be at ASIN, but hey, you can go online for that now.
Yeah, so we are at ASIN, and the streak is still alive.
Streak. I didn't even have that big of a streak. It was like, what, 2015 till 19? So 4 years at least?
Yeah, no, my streak is from 2004, so my streak is still going.
I guess so, yeah.
Still going, baby, like The Undertaker.
Oh, man.
Still going.
So, anyways, what they got announced was the remake for Tony Hawk 1 and 2. Weirdly enough.
Which I have to say, I thought there was a remake for that already. They came out like a few years ago.
Did it now? I don't remember.
Yeah, it did. Look it up.
What the hell?
There was a remake before this remake came out.
Well, now you have 1 and 2.
It was an HD remaster.
No, I think they're trying to go in the way of like the Resident Evil remake. We're like, hey, we're gonna make it better. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, that's what they tried before, but it was not successful.
Yeah.
Which I say, do we really need a Tony Hawk game right now?
It's only funny because I think about the time during that, mid '90s, late '90s, where there was just a huge influx of games trying to copy Tony Hawk with them.
Also, I want to know is Spider-Man gonna be in that? Because Spider-Man was on part 2. Yeah, so are you gonna get licenses for Spider-Man?
Oh man, it's not a complete remake then if they don't have Spider-Man. That would be so weird. Like, oh yeah, he's not in the thing. I think you got cut off. I don't know if you're. I think you might be. Oh yep, he's gone. We lost him once again. Yeah, I think you might need to go to like a more stable place or something.
Hold on, I'm closer by my house, so
okay.
I could be next to my Wi-Fi.
So there you go. This is like a first for the podcast. First time you're ever out in public, technically.
Yeah, true. But this week I was off of work, so just been relaxing in my house,
chilling, maxing, relaxing, all cool.
Yeah, I did not go out since Monday, so this is like Saturday. So it's like, oh, I'm out and about. Yeah,
I know. It is kind of funny how you've been basically just homebound for the past week, and it's usually you'd feel more like, oh man, you should be going out doing stuff, but it's like now.
Well, all my friends is pretty much just self-quarantine, so they are pretty much staying away. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I've been go do the same.
Yeah.
LOL.
Do you feel like that same thing where it's like, oh man, the days feel like they all melt together? For me, it's like, I don't know. I feel I got a good grip on what time is.
Me too. I just realize that like certain days was like feel like, oh, it melted into one another, such. Well,
if you have like a schedule of like, oh, I know it's kind of lame to say like, I know what this show comes out on Wednesday, so I got that to look forward to. So you're like, oh, today's Wednesday, that means it's out right now.
So. No, I don't have nothing like that. I just look at this. Oh, okay. Like Mondays is usually trash days, so like, okay, was trash.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like noticing like different other things. So okay, well, this is a little bit weird. Like I say Friday, and
Hey, and you got caught off once again. Well, there he goes.
there you go. No, I just pretty much connected to my Wi-Fi. So.
Oh, well now you're inside, huh?
Yes, I am. I was thinking about talking outside, but there's a lot of stuff out there, so I was saying no, thank you.
Yeah. Anyways, like I said, you ever played Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX on the Dreamcast?
Yeah, it was not a very good game.
Yeah, it was awful because you know BMXs when you ride on them backwards they don't work well. Because especially when you're doing like half pipe stuff and then you land backwards, you're like gotta awkwardly turn around, and it was cool because there was like that was the only BMX game that I knew of at that time.
Yeah, and what about BMX Triple X?
Oh, I forgot the most popular game out of all the BMX simulation games, BMX Triple X.
Well, it was supposed to be Matt Hoffman Part 2, but they made that instead.
Oh man, wasn't Dave Mirra part of that too?
Oh, it was one of those white guys.
Yeah, I know.
Look,
Dave
man,
Mirra,
it's been a while.
Dave Mirra made one, and well, so as far as I know, there's only been 4 Tony Hawks plus like Underground and all the other stuff. And
It's been a lot of Tony Hawks.
And then Part 5 was the one that came out like a bit back to like 4 or 5 years ago, and then that one just completely destroyed whatever little hope was left for Tony Hawk. But you think about it,
forget Project 8.
that was like one of the more popular ones though. It's just kind of weird. Like really, a game about skateboarding was one of the most popular games in the late '90s. Like yeah, it was just mostly. I think half of it was the soundtrack.
Well, Project 8 was not that good though.
Oh yeah, I know what I'm saying. But it's funny thing, like a lot of people's like basically their music taste kind of just was formed through that game, Tony Hawk 1 and 2. And I don't know if they're gonna be able to license that music again. I don't know.
I don't think so. It's gonna be very hard to try and get remasters of that.
Yeah, no, I'll just re-ask the band again, like, hey, I know you haven't done a song in like 20 years, but you can get in this thing.
Mm-hmm. Come on, play some old jams on, son. Kicking it old school, yo.
Speaking of continuations, now there's going to be a continuation of Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh yeah, Aftermath.
Aftermath. This is the millennium of Aftermath.
Yeah, what is going on with this controller? Why is not connecting?
Oh man. So yeah, we got a sneak peek of what's going on into MK11.
It looks really good. I have to say, it looks really, really good.
Are you gonna get it?
Probably so, because I do like the story for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, we got RoboCop, Freeze Creep.
Oh yeah, and the original voice of it too. I forgot what his name is. The actor's name.
I think it's like Peter something.
Peter Morgan.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, he's going to be. And I was like, oh, that's awesome.
That's such a weird thing. Now people can actually have their Terminator versus RoboCop fantasy that they've had since like the 90s. People's like, I want to see a RoboCop versus Terminator. Like, well, you can now in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, or you can play the old the Nintendo. I mean, not Nintendo, the Sega Genesis game.
That's true. But I like the fact that they're just choosing such weird like okay, sure, we'll have Terminator in this. I guess people wanted Shaggy for the longest time, but now it's this
Shaggy, bump Shaggy.
Yeah, I don't really think that.
Like, oh, Shaggy, because the memes, like, because the Warner Brothers, it's not like, no, Shaggy's just a pipe dream, calm down.
No, we're not gonna get Shaggy on this whole thing.
I know. Like, you think Hanna-Barbera will let something happen to this Shaggy? Get out of here. No.
What's the lady with the 4 arms? I forgot what her name is.
Shiva?
Shiva, yeah. She's in that now, too.
Yeah, Shiva, Fujin from Mortal Kombat 4. And RoboCop.
Yeah.
Alex Murphy.
It is funny that
And
they just put one of the one of the fatalities just a scene from the movie, like, oh, he gets shot up like crazy.
well, it's not done yet, so who knows what else is going to be on it.
Oh yeah, what do you think? Who will be the best character? I mean, because the last season they had Terminator. They had, jeez, who else was on
They
it?
had a whole. Okay, so in the previous, if you want to start from Mortal Kombat 9, they did have Freddy Krueger. They
Freddy
had
Krueger
Kratos.
and Jason.
Yeah, Jason was on part. Jason was 10.
Oh well, they never had. People wanted Leatherface, right? Or did they ever have?
Leatherface was on it.
Oh, he was.
Leatherface was on 10.
Oh,
Yeah,
funny.
like Leatherface was in. Go if you Leatherface, you go and see on 10 it was Jason, Leatherface, the
Predator
Xenomorph,
was Predator in 10?
and Predator was in 10 as well too.
Jesus. Oh yeah, they're just
Yeah.
kind of, I guess, going through their whole like, well, we'll see what we can get. So at this point, like, we can get.
Let me see who else was. Predator was in 10. Also, who was else in 10? The skin for Carl Weathers was in 10 as well too.
Carl Weathers. That's kind of funny.
Yep.
That's the thing. Like, who else can they get now? Like, there's whenever MK12 comes out. Like, who's the
MK12 will come out like in 3 or 4 years.
I thought Ash was gonna be in that thing.
I would not be surprised to see Ash Williams in that game.
Yeah, because that's the other thing that
I think the maybe reason why they're not gonna have him because either studio obligations or because how everything else is going on right now. It's like, oh yeah, it's very hard to try and get like facial features and the voice lines. You could do it over the phone, but it's not the same when you do it in person.
Yeah, I guess so.
So you never know. Don't your Evil Dead brethren. You will get your Ashley Williams.
Yeah, maybe, like I said, just not now. Maybe MK12.
Like I said, or it could be like Injustice 3.
Hellboy was in Injustice, right?
Injustice, yes.
Oh, okay.
Hellboy and Lobo. The Ninja Turtles is also in Injustice as well too.
Damn, I forgot that. I forgot about like that. Oh yeah, that's right. Injustice was still.
Yeah, that's what I said. It will take a while for that because everybody wants to know what's going on the Injustice storyline too.
Well, that's cool.
Like
I said though, like I'm surprised that they're still going on with this. So that means like this has got like another year before they move on and do the next, the next one.
Like I said, another year and change because I think like Rona pushed back every project, so it's going to take a while.
Yeah, that's with what is still going on.
Like say, don't believe the hype that like, oh yeah, it's going to be a super duper cure coming out, and it's like I don't believe you. Only have to still practice social distancing as well. When I was walking home just recently, like 5 minutes ago, this lady was walking side to side to me. And I was like, what is wrong with you, lady?
Like going the same direction or going in the opposite direction?
Like, no, like same direction.
No, that's weird. Even in like non-social distancing times, be like, what are you doing? Stop.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing? Why are you like super kind of close to me? I was like, I was trying to give her the look, but at the same time, I was like on the phone. So I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you on this side of the sidewalk next to me? Like, keep back 6 feet, please.
6 feet.
Like first off, lady, I don't know you.
Well, now it makes sense because when back then in the days when people were walking on the same sidewalk as me, I'd go like a little further away. Now it's not as creepy to do that this time, or like psychopathic.
It's you are practicing. Like, hey, get away! Like, what are you doing? What are you doing, lady? Like for real, that lady was like completely just like, oh, what?
Yeah, I don't get.
Have you not read the news?
Yeah.
Do you not know what's going on in these streets?
Yeah.
Ma'am, are you drunk?
Maybe.
Do you need help?
Well, what if that was like, she needs some kind of weird. So this is the thing. Like, someone should be watching over people like that. She's clearly not like fully conscious of what's going on. So I'm like, someone get her while I do my own thing out here.
Can someone please get this woman, because I'm not here to babysit.
Yeah, there's like if you're walking like me, throw that in there. I got my AirPods now. Hey, that's gonna make this thing a lot easier.
Yeah, I'm not here to how to save a life. No, I'm not here to save a life. No. Even that song was almost on every hospital show.
Oh yeah, I know, The Fray.
Yeah, The Fray.
It's not even it's not that bad of a song, but yeah, it did play out, and like even in some commercials too, because that piano part, like dun 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 dun, how to save a life.
Yeah, because it was on. First time I remember hearing that song, it was on Scrubs. So I'm like, okay,
oh, yeah.
and then like I think Grey's Anatomy had it too. I'm just like,
and I'm pretty sure House.
What? And I'm pretty sure House had it as well too. I'm like, why this song is getting so much pub?
Because it gets that literal how to save a life, and they're doing that in those shows. So I was like, oh, this makes sense. But then everyone did it, so it's like, okay, well, it's not special anymore, is it?
Yeah, it lost its true meaning to be special. I just want to be special. Oh
my god.
So special.
Yeah, so like when you pass by in people's houses and they slap on their windows like, oh yeah, thank you to all the workers, thank you to this, and it's like, oh my god. I don't want to be like that type of guy. I just be like, I've grown numb to it, basically. You know, seeing like, oh, hashtag we're in this together. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Well, that hashtag is just it's just gone.
It's lost all meaning because we're obviously not all in this together. Everyone's kind of doing their own separate thing.
Also, he goes. Yeah. So when I was on the way home as well too, there was a guy say Trump is the virus. I was just like, okay,
very good. that obviously like, helped out in their times, huh?
It's like it was all like on his car and like all this stuff. And I'm just like, okay, like I'm like,
I see like a lot of people on Facebook just sharing stuff like, oh, this is so bad, this is a thing, and then in my mind I'm like, oh, that helped, right? Just that one post right there completely derailed this whole thing, and you are the savior for this, and that's why I'm like, I'm done. I'm done looking at stuff on Facebook.
That's why I stay away from the news outlets and Facebook, because sometimes it just gets, I'm not say too much, but it just gets open, like I don't want to know. just give me the Books for Dummies version, because it's just all like opinion after opinion after opinion. It's just like, okay, so what's the truth here? It's just like, well, the thing is blah 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 blah. So like, okay, so just give me the now version.
2016. Ever since 2016 happened, it's been just the death of comedy for me, because like everyone can just be like, oh, here's something, and here's something, wait, Trump did it. I'm like, okay, well, that was super obvious and not funny. And then it's just 4 years of that, which is just the worst. Like, look how much smarter I am than Trump. I'm like, what? You can't repeat that joke a million times, and like I said, it just makes me so mad just seeing stuff like that. For a different reason. I don't really care. I just don't like the fact that that's like, oh, this is I'm smart now because of this. I'm like, what?
It goes like, you remember how when What's the Face got really big, the Young Turks and stuff.
Oh my god, what a name to bring up right now.
Because like, remember when Young Turks was a thing?
Yes, that was a thing. Yeah, I remember.
And
that.
It was like, oh man, you're super cool because you're so working, because you listen to you watching the Young Turks like YouTube video or whatever, and blah 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 blah, and you so righteous and care about all this stuff here, and then you realize like, okay, these guys are just repeating the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah, that's true.
And just like, okay, look, I get it. No, this is y'all demographic. This is what y'all heal.
The
Y'all
thing
gonna
is,
die on.
that's all they can do. So it's like, oh, this is an injustice right here, which is like, okay, well, is that it? That's all you're gonna do about it? Just post about it? Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
That helped this entire
Yeah.
world.
And just like you can make the difference. So like, well, I know and look. I was like, I can make a difference, but also I am one individual, and I know how people are. So people will be like, "Oh, that's cool," and then forget about it in the
Yeah,
next
I
like
know,
couple
right?
minutes.
Well, the thing
So
is,
I'm
like,
like,
most of those friends already are in that same mindset. You're not posting to someone. I don't know. I have a lot of friends that are like on both sides of the spectrum. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
You post anti-Trump stuff. That you actually have friends that are pro-Trump? I don't know. That'd be weird. I'm like,
Yeah,
from what I can tell, from what inside on my end, I'm not. If I post something anti-Trump, they'll all be like, oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Then like the only other side's gonna oppose your view. So it honestly just makes your ego just bigger. Like, ha, I'm so much better than those Trump people,
mm-hmm.
which is like, yeah, but that's not an argument. Then you're just preaching to the choir.
Yeah. Like for example, I had one of my ex coworkers who I used to work with. He was a Republican, and I got along with him just fine.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, we had like different views on stuff, but he was like, and he's not, and he understands. Like, you know what? He pretty much told me, he's like, you know what? No, Lauren. He's like, even though we got different views and stuff, I can still see like pretty much your point of view and everything else. He's like, he was like, I don't really consider you as a pretty much a Democrat because your views is kind of make good sense and everything else. And pretty much I didn't like, oh well, your views this and that, and pretty much you realize like there's some Republican parties suck.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. And he's like, there's no good Republicans out there. He's like, there's some good Republicans that have modern ideas that want to see the party to grow and want to make sure there's no quote unquote poor people in the area and everything else. And there's some pretty much just greedy, people who just want money. And I was like, see, why Republicans don't want to be truth like you and everything else?
Well,
and I was like,
only the extremes that you hear, and that's it. You don't hear the people that are actually like, simple, not true.
Yeah,
yeah.
And he just was pretty much like he just want pretty much a fair and balanced wage of the money and everything else. He's like, yeah, he agrees. Like, yeah, minimum wage is supposed to be up. Like, it'd be pointless to not have minimum wage, cheap. Like, I don't want big businesses to have breaks. He's like, so he has some good, some decent thoughts, and there's some other thoughts. I'm like, yeah, you reaching there, pal, but okay, I respect you. So it's like it's okay to have like opinions like on different politics, different circle of life, and everything else. But if you like right now, I'm just like, oh well, if you have to vote for Bernie, or if you don't vote for Bernie, then Democrat sucks, blah 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 blah. Just like, look, Bernie is not the end all be. Bernie's not the end all be all, homie. I'm sorry, no.
This 2020 has been full of just such disappointments. That's all it is.
Like, granted, Bernie had like pretty much some good ideas, but his ideas just pretty much were scaring some people, and it just did not resonate with certain people. So it's just like a lot of people just was turned off about that. No, granted, yeah, I did want to see Bernie try and make it because it was something different.
Yeah.
Another old white man, but no, he didn't make it.
Yeah, we're.
So I'm not gonna be like, oh well, Bernie didn't make it, so I'm not gonna wait. No, I'm not gonna vote. Then you being an idiot right now.
Yeah, there was so much rally, and I don't know, man.
Sorry being so political and charged doing this time.
I know, like I said, 2016 is just ever since then. It's just been so. It's been a decline. People have been always saying like. Ever since the death of Harambe, I'm like, shut up. He's still bringing this up in this year.
Hey man, look man, I love me some Harambe. Don't ever diss Harambe. Harambe was a culture vulture, okay?
Well, I'm not dissing him. I'm dissing everyone. Yeah, basically what you're doing right now. It was like, oh yeah, those were the best times. I'm like. Oh, okay. Let me see. You gone to Knuckles? Okay, cool. You like that too. All right, I'm out of here.
Yeah. Oh, well, I got some other side notes.
Yeah, go on.
I've been playing poker again.
On an app?
On the app. Did I mention last time?
Yeah, you did.
I was playing poker.
Well, you said you said that you were going to go back into it, or whatever.
Yep. And recently, I won a few games.
Oh, that's cool. Like,
well, I placed a few games. It's just like, oh yeah, I placed a few games, yay! In this time of quarantine, realized that you pretty much with nothing else to do in the house.
Yeah.
And you deal with some people who love to play cards. This is the thing you do.
When people tell me that, well, I don't see a lot of people say this, but there are people out there like, oh man, there's nothing to do in quarantine. I'm just like, you have no interest in anything, I guess, Like, come on, there's like a billion things you can do. Maybe I'll just... I don't know.
There's a ton of different things to do in quarantine. You have to open your eyes and pretty much realized.
Realized.
Yeah. That my arms are wide open.
Whoa. Welcome to the show, Creed.
Welcome to the show. Oh,
I say Creed like that's his name. Like his name's not Creed.
No, his name's not Creed. Get out of here, you.
He hasn't. The only thing he was ever brought back in the spotlight was with Kid Rock, and that was it. Yeah,
that's a name. That's a name that you want to be associated when you bring yourself back to Kid Rock. Yuck.
I don't know. That's all I gotta say is like. That's what I remember that time was, and then yeah, here we are.
Here you go. Do you want to hear one of my greatest Creed moments?
Wow, there's a Creed moment.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Creed moments I have to share with you.
Go on with your Creed moment.
Okay, so I found Creed in high school every day.
You found him like in the bathroom or something. Like, hey, there you are.
Yep. Pretty much, I was like, hey guys, what are you guys doing here?
And they're like,
get out of here.
I was about to say in pre-song, like, there's only one I know, it's with arms wide open. Go on, yeah, you found Creed in high school.
No, so pretty much, my friend, who was like pretty much, he was into like that new metal type of, scene, not new metal, but like, okay, so... I see, like Godsmack, Disturbed.
Oh, yeah. So alternative metal. So
alternative metal.
What they can show, what they qualify as metal.
Yes.
Okay,
when Q1 in its heyday.
That was the days. Go on.
So I was sitting there, I was like, okay, this is weird, but I was like, first I was like, okay, I can see, I dig the, the sweet sounds of the guitar like any other man would do.
Uh-huh.
But I was like, is he singing about Jesus? Because
that's the funny thing. Like, yeah, like you find out like, oh, they're a Christian band. I'm like, what the hell? Okay.
Yeah, and then I was like, no, he cannot be singing about Jesus. And then I was like, holy crap, it is about Jesus.
About Jesus.
And I was like, man, I guess Jesus is the one. He's the one. Yeah, run that back. All right.
Did you know also my friend Mr. B was also into Creed during high school, so we might have had the same friend.
No, this friend completely dropped out of high school, so.
Well, that's because of Creed. You can't. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Was that the entire story right there? Just fun.
Yep.
You just heard that your friend liked Creed, and you found out later that they were a Christian man. You're like, oh, I think you need to drop out of high school. And they're like, yeah, probably. There's no way for me to go up from this.
Pretty much, yep. I had that conversation and be like, yeah, I think it's time.
And it's funny too.
One wish.
Yeah.
One wish.
My friend had a CD from Creed too. I'm just like, okay. So you got a CD from a band that I don't know. I don't know what the deal was. That's the thing, which is like So you are trying to be popular, but you're singing about stuff that is for a niche audience. I don't know.
Like, I'm
That's why we don't.
confused.
That's why we don't hear from him anymore. That and a bunch of
Like,
other reasons.
well, no, he was drunk on stage and did not perform well, and
I like how
they
the bands that people
they broke up.
that have a lot of hate on them is just like there's Nickelback, which I'm like, yeah, like yes, for some, like I don't really see the hate, but it's just mostly funny to me, like the fact that Jesus
I
Christ,
think
you just
Nickelback
fall
was.
through a goddamn garbage disposal. So, yeah, go on.
Uh, sorry, I was just laughing.
Okay, so yeah, Nickelback.
No, I think the hatred for Nickelback was. Don't get it wrong. Because Nickelback was that band that's like, oh my god, it's they do everything, blah 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 blah. And it was that one band that someone just need to be sacrificed.
I guess
It was Nickelback. Don't get me wrong. There's some songs that just off Nickelback is not like great. I
they
can
only
look
have
at
two
some
songs that I know of, which is Photograph and How You Remind Me. That's it. Oh, that, and also they were in the Spider-Man soundtrack. Second time we mentioned Spider-Man in this podcast.
There's a hero indeed.
And that's the guy with
That
Saliva.
song?
Or was Saliva not more recognized back in its day?
Oh yeah, my friend listens to Saliva as well too.
What a disgusting name, Saliva.
Okay, and if you ask me, do I have a Saliva song on my Apple playlist? I sure do. Remind me of the simpler days.
Yeah.
Like, why you have Saliva on here? Like, just reliving some high school moments.
Were you
It just-
into Stained as well?
No, I was not.
Mm.
Hey, yo, Staying with me was, I think that was like the band that was like, no, I'm okay. Because I guess to me, because I just that video, the original video, The Outsider, or
Yeah, it's called
The
Outside. That and also,
Yeah,
it's been a while. That song.
the Ben and Wild thing. It go. Don't get me wrong. I love the hot memes. I really do. But I was like, so like, they did not have no substance.
Yeah, and, well,
Everything was about like depression.
a lot of those songs were back in the day were Korn, friggin', of course, Linkin Park. That whole that big meme.
Okay, Korn has some jams. Not gonna lie to you, Korn has some straight up jams.
I'd say that too. They covered Word Up, which was.
Oh, I still wonder why.
I know.
All the retro songs you want to cover. You want to cover Word Up. I was like, oh, better yet, we are the creator of. Let's see what they said of God damn it, Jonathan Davis. What do you say you was the creator of?
Like an actual product or something.
Huh?
Like an actual product of something.
Yeah, of music of what's that music called on this net that was so big like early in the arts, the tens, like 2010s.
Corn rock? I don't know.
No, it was
corny music.
No, it was on it was the stupid thing that kids was all into. It was not techno. It was another version of techno, pretty much.
Oh, like EDM?
Not EDM.
Oh.
Close.
House music?
Yes, but I don't think it was not called house. It was called something else.
Oh, okay. Trance? I don't know.
Remember when it's on tip of my tongue.
Remember? Did you ever have when you had cable? Did you ever have cable?
Of course, I had cable. Yes.
Did you ever have those channels where it's just music?
Yeah, the box.
No. It was just This was like different from the box. It was just solely dedicated to just one genre of music. Like, it's channel 900, and it's like it only plays, rock.
Oh, you talk about something like that? Yes, yeah. I did.
That's the weird. Because I remember that, I'm just like, holy crap. Because I have Pluto. Well, the app Pluto.
Uh-huh.
It's like a free cable. It's like free TV internet or something like that. It's weird. I don't fully understand how it works. I guess they just license that stuff out or something, and they play a lot of ads. But you can go through the channels, and then sometimes they'll be showing a movie. And then I was watching a little bit of because they were playing Boondock Saints on there. I'm just like, God damn, this movie was edgy as hell.
Oh yeah, it was. This is very edgy. It was very. If you rewatch some of the movies that were based on the '90s, you'd be like, oh my god, this is so edge. This is so edgelord to edginess.
It was so like, oh my god, we're killers, but we want to kill the bad guys, and it's like a religion thing too. I'm just like, oh, this is so. It's a cheese.
This is so like
delicious cheese right there.
Like I was into this when you look at like, oh yeah, man, I love Boondock Saints. You love like, oh yeah, like don't get me wrong, I love Boondock Saints too. Back in that time,
you saw the
oh man,
you saw the sequel,
I
right?
saw part 2. Yes,
yeah.
The sequel didn't really hold. Oh god,
no, because it was just the first one. Like, oh, it's the first movie again.
Yeah, it's the first movie again, and just not. It's not a good movie. I don't care anyone say like, no, Boondock Saints Part 2 is super good. Like, no, it's just Part 2 again. It's Part 1, except for you don't get William Dafoe until the end. Spoilers.
And also,
you think he's dead? He's dead, but not really.
They're supposed to do a sequel, and that never happened. Well, I don't know. That's just in production hell ever since then. It's been like 10 years between the first one, 10 years for the second one, and then now I'm pretty sure we're already past the 10-year mark for Boondock Saints 3 in jail version.
Yeah. In quarantine, baby. In quarantine.
What if that was the one like, oh, we're actually going to do it, and then boom, we're in quarantine, we can't do part 3. I honestly don't think, like, they're going to be way too old. They're already old enough inside the second one, which is...
yeah, like Norman Reedus just got aged really fast. Really. It's just like, if you look at Norman Reedus' career, like, oh, you age very fast, my friend. Like, just no. No.
So yeah, I was on Pluto, and then I went there. They have specific channels just for music, and that brought me back to my old school days where I would never go on those channels, but it was kind of a fun novelty. Like, wow, I wonder what this channel's for, just to put music on while you're in the house. So there's completely invalidate the radio, and also I guess put it on for a party. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you pretty much now just like, oh yeah, this is if you don't have a YouTube subscription or any music subscription, you just pretty much just like, oh yeah, just put it on this channel and everything else, and that'd be good.
I only say that because I listened to the metal channel like back then when I had that, and I was listening to them like, and then that was like the true metal of like people throat singing, and to the point like I don't understand what he's saying, but good on you.
Look at you! Listen to the metal channel.
Are you into Cannibal Corpse?
No. I never got into Cannibal Corpse, even though, don't get me wrong, it was featured on Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. That's
the only thing they're known for now.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
It's like Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Like, yeah. Hey, man. If you gotta be known for something, known for a good Jim Carrey movie, not a bad Jim Carrey movie.
So anything basically in between 2020 to 2010, I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen his movie I Love You, Philip Morris? I think that came out like 2011 or 12 or something like that.
I slowly wanted to see that movie because I was so curious to see how about that as Jim Carrey playing like a gay man. But it just never came out in theaters. Or it came out in theaters where it was like limited releases, and then it was like, oh well, it's on Blu-ray and everything else. And during that time, I was like, I'm not gonna pay for this stuff here.
Yeah, that's what happened. I thought it was a good movie. It had Ewan McGregor in it. They were lovers.
Yeah,
I was like,
and I heard it was a really good movie too. So I'm like, oh man, did I miss the boat on that movie? And then I was like, no. Hey man, if you did miss the boat, it's whatever. Do you remember the show Titus?
Oh yeah, I remember Titus. There was like that.
Oh,
I didn't really care for that.
I think I was just like, I was so like on the downwell like this week. I was like, you know what? Let me listen to some old comedian stuff on YouTube, and then I found Christopher Titus.
Oh my god!
I was like, oh my god!
They gave a show to any. They gave a show to any comedian back in that day. It was like,
yeah,
oh, here you go. Here's your show. And like, didn't last that long, did it?
True. Well, he made some money, but I was just like,
but what was? I don't remember what the appeal of Titus was. Like, what was that thing like? Oh, this is what's different from this show from any other thing. I think it was just from his point of view or something. I don't know.
It was his point of view, but also as like, hey, it's a white man who's like come from a broken home, and his mom and family's are crazy, or something like in that sort of realm, like the angry white man.
So just basically,
but
it holds up today to this.
It's just like the angry white man that's like funny, edgy, and dark. He's like just say like, okay, a good example. What I would think of, imagine not successful white man, but failure as a white man.
Okay.
And failure upwards, and it's like, oh yeah, well, you think he gonna do good, and be like, I don't think so. He's just gonna fail upwards, and just seeing him fail upwards is just pretty much is the thing with his arc, and pretty much like, okay, you fell into somewhat success. Cool.
I was also doing some of that like a little earlier the week too. I put on Mitch Hedberg, which was such a shame when I heard that when he died. I was like, damn. He was a good comedian. Too bad he never got any bigger.
Yeah, but also I want to know as well too, like, we say he was a good comedian, but will he last this long during this time of like?
I honestly don't know.
Because and like I was curious to pretty much like with certain comedians, like, okay, well, how like comedy has changed, like will they do good during this time of like, during this time?
I don't know.
Yeah, and honestly, I would say no, because the comedians kind of changed. Because most comedians now is like, oh, if you have, you have to be either a writer or something else, pick up a trade. Like, I know some comedians is good writing, but some comedians just like, he's only good in one particular thing. Pat Oswalt is good as a writer, but not good as a comedian, like stand-up comedian. Even though I think
his early stuff was pretty good. That's all.
His early stuff is good. His later stuff is doesn't have that umph towards it.
Well, and then it's just a sad thing.
After his wife died, it kind of was like, oh, I kind of feel bad, even like bad for him, because like, dude, that sucks.
I watched the Jerry Seinfeld special, 23 Hours to Kill.
How was that?
I will preface this by saying like the Seinfeld show is one of the best shows I've seen in during that time, and I listened to his his really early one that was on HBO. I listened to that one a lot.
Yeah, I remember that was a hot one. Okay.
But this one right here, you can tell he's an old man because he talks about the stuff that boomers basically talk about, which is like, we got the smartphone, but it's making us dumb. Like, that's really the joke you're gonna go with?
You're like, wow, you are reaching super hard, sir.
It's so weird for me. I'm like, man, he used to be cool. I mean, this is kind of actually the same jokes he did back then in the 90s, but now there's like more of a, modern take. Yeah, modern take. So it's like, he really hasn't changed that much. So it's not really that good. There's moments where like, oh, okay, he's talking about, how everyone's always, just on their phones and all that stuff. And it's to me, I'm just like, well, I like your old stuff. That's all I gotta say.
He was like, whoop. Like, it's something.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Look, man, all of them cannot be hits. All of them cannot be zingers now.
Yeah. Well, so did you listen to anyone else? Any other comedians back in the day?
Let's see what.
I did. I listened a little bit earlier of like Dane Cook too, and I'm just like, man, did I really like this? I mean, I like the energy he had, but these jokes.
These these jokes, bro material.
Yeah.
Dane Cook, I could
He
not
was
get
the
into Dane
most
Cook.
popular in our at least lifetime. He was one of the most popular ones in the age range that we were supposed to be in. So that's all I gotta say. And then sometimes I follow him on Twitter. I just like, man, this was a long time ago. But sometimes I still see him talk about stuff. I'm like, why am I following him? The same way I'm like, oh yeah, I'm following this guy. Why is that? I don't know.
There's a couple people I look at and I was like, well, I'm following you, and I just click on follow.
You know, Frankie Muniz has a weird ass fucking Twitter. That's all. That's all I gotta say.
Well, Frankie Muniz got money off of syndication, so you don't have to do nothing no more.
I know, but he's got some really weird like, because the whole story behind the whole thing behind him is like something like he was into racing, but he was in so many accidents that he literally has no memory of doing anything from Malcolm in the Middle. So now he's just doing.
So not that movie with. Not that movie with what's her face with
Amanda Bynes.
Yeah, Amanda Bynes before she went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah,
no, remember Amanda Bynes is hot.
Oh, yeah, because through what do you call it, the Amanda Show, and even then I thought the Amanda Show was like, this is
Amanda
pretty,
Show was not.
This is pretty try hard, I will say.
Amanda Show was not that good. I'm sorry. A lot of people say, "Oh, Amanda Show was good." Just like, no, it was a bad version of all that.
Well, I remember because they recently redid all that. Well, not redid, but they're doing like a current version of it. And I saw it on YouTube. Yeah. I saw a couple clips. I'm just like, ooh, this is not. Well, I can tell like, yeah, this is not for me because it's for kids, but ooh. Not what I remember it to be.
It's a different demographic now.
Yeah.
Like, geez.
You wouldn't
have the old man now.
You wouldn't have Keenan and Kel without all that, and then they were the only ones that were somewhat popular and somewhat survived all that, which is kind of funny to think of right there.
Yeah, if you think about the members of all that, the only person like made good successful was Keenan and Kel. They're the only two. Maybe the I forgot that big girl name. That big white girl. I forgot her name.
Well, then that shows how successful she was. You don't remember her name?
I don't remember her name, but she was on the Steve Harvey show.
Yes, it was Lori Beth Denberg.
Yeah, Lori Beth Denberg. Yes, she pretty much became something.
I guess
on the Steve Harvey show.
That was it. Yeah, out of all the other people on there was Danny Tamborelli. He was also on like Pete and Pete, but I never watched Pete and Pete. You ever watched Pete and Pete? Danny Tamborelli, one of the younger brothers.
Who?
Yeah, okay.
In the words of Snoop Dogg. Who?
Snoop Lion, you mean?
No, Snoop Dogg. No, Snoop Lion. Get out here.
But if you
like,
I don't know. That's all I gotta say is with the whole stuff with the Nickelodeon shows. When you find out that weird stuff that Dan Schneider did with that, I'm just like, it did get kind of like to a point of that's just creepy, man. Why are you doing that?
Well, it just can't be like, well, those are the times. Like, no, those are not the times that you don't want to remember.
There's a lot of shows that ended this year too. Modern Family ended, like actually ended. There's no more coming back for that show. At least I don't. Maybe there's like a spin-off coming soon, but I saw the last episode of Modern Family. I'm like, oh man, I can't believe it's been on for like 11 years.
11 years, wow.
And it's still a good show, like for the most part. I remember watching that show and it stayed consistently funny throughout the entire time it's been on. And I was like, that's hard to do. Usually you find the dip and like, oh man, they never recovered from that.
The successful version of let's see, what's that show called?
What, Young Sheldon?
Dang, I forget.
Young Sheldon.
No, I had the joke.
Oh, okay. And you lost it just like that.
Yep, I lost it just like that, young buck.
But it had a good ending though. That's the thing. Like, it actually had an ending. Not like How I Met Your Mother had a crappy ending, which I'm like, really? That's how it is. The Office ended well enough. I'm like, okay, I can see that as an ending. Seinfeld was like considered either the worst or the best ending, which I'm like, it's kind of good. I like it. It makes sense.
What's Seinfeld ending?
They end up in jail.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, I'm thinking. Sorry, I was thinking of what's his face? Frasier. Sorry, I prefer Frasier better than Seinfeld.
I don't know. For me, I'm like I like both of them pretty good. But Frasier also had like an ending. I was like, it looked like it was gonna be a continuation, but it's like okay, that's how it ended, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think like other like good endings, but so yeah, that was a good one. BoJack ended earlier this year too, and that had a pretty good ending. I watched and finished Steven Universe. I remember at that point, I'm like, where the hell did I leave off? And I watched it. I was like, oh, this is where I left off. And then, as the story went through, I was like, oh, that was pretty good series. But then when I look back, people really hated how it continued because I watched it in the easier way, where everything was already ended. People who watched it back then were watching it within like 6 months apart to a year apart episodes. So they're like, oh yeah, there was like 4 episodes of this. And then
it was invested already.
And then it was gone for like a year. Then it came back like another 4 episodes, and then it went away for like 3. Then it came back. So I'm just like, oh, so that's why people really hated some of the parts inside there. But not for me though. For the most part, I stuck it through the end and just like, oh, there you go. That's how it ended right there. And
like good ending. People like, what do you mean good ending? That ending sucks. Like, no, it was a good ending for me.
Yeah, that's why
Are you on drugs? Maybe. Like, maybe.
So I also did something also earlier, like last week, which I was just like, maybe I should go back and revisit something that's a dark past of me that I feel like I shouldn't be going back to, but I should give it a fair chance. Like, was it actually a good show? I don't know. Let me see. Let me go rewatch it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I do not know what you're talking about.
My Little Pony. Because
Little Pony.
They have like 9 seasons of it. I'm just like, holy crap! I only watched like 3, from what I can tell. I watched like I think parts of season 4 on Netflix, and it still kept the recording of it. I'm like, oh yeah, you watched all these. I'm like, did I? I don't fucking remember.
Excuse me? I don't remember none of this thing ever happening.
And then I was like watching a couple episodes, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that's right. This whole thing was a thing that consumed my life for like a year and a half. And then,
so, what's your thoughts on it, My Little Pony?
Going back to it again?
Came back to it. Yeah.
I'm not going back to it. I'm just like, I just watched like a couple episodes. Or have I watched a full season again? I don't know, maybe.
But what's your thoughts on it, fam?
It's still, honestly, like, yeah, it's still a good show. That's for kids, but, man, it did not need to live up to the point of, like, you know, pure, like, enjoyment for people. Only because I can tell, like, man, that was when I see plot points, it's like, oh, that was easily solved, or something. It's like, that should not be a problem. But then again, you're like, oh yeah, it's for kids, so, you know.
Like, it's for kids, so why treat this like a real life TV show for kids? What was wrong with me back in the day? Jeez, I was such a jerk.
Yeah, because it's like, it was like that whole thing. Yeah, from 2000. I can tell from like 2012 or something to 2013, 14. I won't say like those were the times where I was like, hey, I was into it, and then looking back now, I'm like, oh, I mean, it's still a well-written show, but I didn't need to go that far. It was just a thing, like, I wanted to be part of, like, a whole group collective that was like, oh, we're anti-culture and all that stuff, anti-conformity, because we're liking something that's meant for little kids and all that. I was just like, I guess so. I don't know.
And there was anime looking at you saying, well, about me, and he's like, anime for nerds. I'm not that type of nerd.
If it wasn't for that show being off, like, oh, because during that time between, I think, season 3 and 4, where they were just off, and I was like, I need something to watch, and I started watching anime, like, oh, this is good. And then when the show came back, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, that show's still on. I forgot. That's why I was too heavily into anime. I got into it at the right time, because 2013 was, I remember the exact year of it too, because it was just like, I got in the right time, because that was during that time, and that summer was the big freaking hit of that time was Attack on Titan, and that was one that everyone. So I got like, wow, there you go. Everyone's talking about this show right here. And then later that year was Kill la Kill, the other show that took up the anime community by storm. So I was primed to like watch watch it from that point on. So
he was like, "This is my demographic. This is my sacrifice.
My sacrifice." But yeah, that's the what I've been doing for the past couple weeks. I watched a couple movies. I watched.
I did watch a movie.
Yeah.
I forgot. I watched one of the worst movies that I thought I was seeing in quite a while.
Okay.
I think the movie Black and Blue.
Black and Blue with the cop?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah, what about it? So tell me what you think.
That movie do not make no freaking sense at all. Like, my God.
So from what I can tell from the trailer, so it's like she's a cop, she witnesses something, and then they're like, oh, we gotta get her because she's got the body cam or something like that.
Yeah. That part, okay. You understand, something basic. But then you realize, like, oh, what's her backstory? Oh, she was a former, she did 2 tours of Iraq and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, she did 2 tours in Iraq, but at the same time, she's not like a powerhouse. Excuse me? Excuse me?
Did you rent this?
Ma'am, sir?
Did you rent this or something, or?
No, so, like, I was, like, helping my mom out, and she was watching this movie. And I was like, oh, what you watching? And she was like, oh, I'm watching this movie, Black and Blue. So I sit there, and I was,
That's funny, because I don't see you actively seeking this out, so I was like, there's gotta be, there's no way you were like, I'm gonna put Black and Blue in, and so we can watch it.
I was not seeking this out. I was just like, okay, let me just see what this is all about, and everything else, because, the curiosity appears, and I was like...
that and like, well, what else can you do at that point?
Yeah. And then when I was watching it, I was like, fam, this movie is not that good. And like the logic thing she was doing and everything else, I'm like, what? Like, no. I say no, because that does not make no sense at all. If you pretty much saw 2 tours and you going into the ghettos of freaking New Orleans, you telling me that you cannot prepare yourself? You tell me that you pretty much you coming unarmed and you don't know how to defend yourself from hand-to-hand combat. That towards the end you was faced against this, I forgot this actor's name, but he's always in like he always plays like the bad cop type of movie and everything else. I forgot his name. But you telling me that you can't defend yourself against like regular gangsters? But you saw 2 tours in Iraq.
I don't know.
And they's like, who is this woman? This woman is like, she's a ghost. She have all this stuff here. But at the same time, she's pretty much getting racked by some random people.
I guess that's just to add some
down the block.
That's like to add some tension, which like she can't be too powerful. And like, but you can make her powerful, make it cool, like John Wick. But I guess.
But why you give the character like that background?
That backstory. They could have just been like, oh, she was good in the academy. That's it.
Yeah, she was like, oh well, she's a rookie. Okay, cool. You can give her the rookie mentality. Cool, yeah. Awesome. That's the first time the force. Cool. But then you go pretty much go, she's serving the war, this and that. So you tell me she's serving the war and she's getting wrecked by these people. All right, I'm about to head out of here. That was the feeling. I was like, all right, I'm about to head out because this logic is dumb. It's not dummy. Yeah. It's not dummy thick. This logic is stupid thick.
Well, that's still the same thing. For me, that's in my eyes. Those 2 are the same coin.
All right.
So
it was.
Yeah, go on.
It got me so like. And, like, the ending was, like, so, like, unfulfilling. Not unfulfilling, but it was, like, you tell them, okay, y'all would end it like that. Also, Tyrese just looked old in that movie. He looked old and out of shape. And I was just like, oh, this is clearly a payday for Tyrese because A, he really need the money. He really need to pay Will Smith back that money.
In between Fast and Furious, he just is like, I gotta get something because there's no one else out there hiring me.
Exactly. And I was like, man, why this movie sucks so much?
I saw. Yeah, go on.
Go ahead, sorry.
Well, I also saw a pretty bad movie on my end too.
What movie?
The Charlie's Angels reboot that happened last year.
Oh God.
Exactly. You know, the first line in this movie is he just says like, "I believe a woman can do anything." I'm like, really? That's what you're starting off with your movie with? And it's Kristen Stewart, and I don't even know who the hell the other two people are. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. They're from other movies. But Kristen Stewart's the only one that's like, I guess recognizable. I'm like, oh yeah, I know her. The action is pretty stupid. It's pointless, and they lean too heavily into the whole feminist thing of it. I'm just like, I guess so, because this, from what it looks like, this thing takes place within the actual Charlie's Angels universe, because they show pictures of the previous Charlie's Angels, and they show Lucy Liu and they show Cameron Diaz and the ones from the 70s. So I'm like, so is there just like a whole row of Charlie's Angels waiting for you guys?
Yeah.
That's what's weird to me. I'm just like, so this is canon within the same place. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
And spoiler alert, Jean-Luc Picard's in this one, Patrick Stewart, and they make him into the
bad guy?
They turn, well, first he's originally supposed to be like, oh, he's Bosley, but then they turn him into the bad guy. I'm just like, why?
Of course. So who's the Bosley in this movie?
Who's who?
Who's the Bosley in this movie?
There is.
Who's the Bill Murray?
It used to be. Oh, it's what do you call it? Elizabeth Banks. She's the one that's helping the angels out and all that stuff.
Wait, what?
I don't know. It's
Elizabeth
weird.
Banks?
Yeah, she also directed this movie too, so gotta shoehorn yourself in that somehow.
Elizabeth, really? Her?
Yeah, it's weird.
Like,
out of all the choices, well, there's no choice because she was the one directing. It's like, I'm gonna be in this movie. I'll be in this one. That's like,
yeah, I guess I take one for the team then. Be like, but Elizabeth Banks, like last time I saw Elizabeth Banks was in Kevin Smith movie.
Zack and Miri.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's not been a good one for her either. She hasn't done anything good in a long time. But yeah, for the most part, that movie was too not, memorable for the most part.
So you telling me they was leaning on the Ghostbusters factor, like, hey, women can do anything.
I'm like, okay, can they make a good movie? Haha. Guess not.
I'm not gonna stay clear on that comment.
But that's just a funny. Hey, it's a joke. All right, come on, let me joke. Directed towards me. I'm not the one out there calling women queens or anything like that. But I'm no simp either. So.
Oh, I'm not no simp at all. Oh yeah, did you hear that? Twitch banned the word simp.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm just like, okay, well, that's Twitch has just gone through some weird things. Just gone through some changes, as they say. Just like David Bowie.
It has. It became like, oh, it's full of memes, it's great, and then it became super like, hey, you can't be showing your boobs on here and be like, hey, you can't be calling guys simps. And like, okay.
It was just a funny thing to call people that we're all super into, like, oh, I'm gonna donate to the e-girl. I'm like, okay, simp, and then that's just completely.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, simp. It's okay. Simps is like, simps know they are simps. That's all. And they know they roll and they shut their mouth. They don't need to be. They white knight people for a reason.
The funniest thing, the funniest thing I saw was when some e-girl was actually like, I don't know why everyone's against simps. If you simp, that's king shit right there. I'm just like, sure, just to make themselves feel better, okay. And that was a smart move on her, because then people were just like, okay, cool, we'll donate. You don't need to put up actual talent in doing things. You just be nice looking, and then we can donate money. And it's like, okay.
Okay, we guess you were right. You fuck.
Yeah.
Like, if someone, I think someone like, hey, are you a simp? I'm like, no. I said, first off, like, I got a girlfriend.
That's
simps
not.
don't.
You can simp for your girlfriend. I'm pretty sure.
No, simps don't usually have women. They usually let women step on them. Like, in their word, they pretty much their girlfriends, they e-girlfriend. And secondly, like, look, like, simps pretty much spend money on e-girls. I don't.
Well, like, the other thing is when they defend women on doing stuff and then just completely take down men within the same sentence. It's stuff like that, which is like...
It'd be like, yeah, queen, do this and this, blah, 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 and da-da-da-da. I'd be like, look, I give someone a pro talk to any female, like, any woman that pretty much like, hey, you going down or you feeling a little bit down? Yeah, sure. I give them a, like, hey, blah, blah, blah. I will talk to them. But I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm a white knight for you. It's like, no, you your own person. You get, grab yourself on your bootstraps, and then you go to work. You do what you can. But I'm not going to be like, yo, fam, I will die for the culture.
People willing to die on hills for no reason. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Like, okay, boomer. I'm not going to like,
oh, God.
Like, die for the culture. Like, what is this culture going to do for me? Like, I'm slightly confused.
Yeah.
Tell me what this culture is going to do for me, and if I'm going to win some money. You tell me I'm not going to win no money, then I'm not going to do nothing for the culture, fam.
Well, they're also planning they're also planning to, like, for Twitch stuff, like, you can be like, oh yeah, someone's like going out saying like, oh yeah, we want to ban voice chats because it's a disadvantage. I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. Good thing I'm not a Twitch, a Twitcher. A Twitcher. I don't know what people call themselves.
A streamer.
Yeah,
a voice chat. Voice chat of what? The type of voice
chat. No, like, well, they say like it serves a disadvantage against minorities and women because if they go on voice chat, they'll get harassed that way. And I'm just like, oh man. Well, this is Twitch, I guess. Corporate on Twitch.
So y'all just y'all fighting for all the wrong causes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, fam, y'all fighting for what causes y'all fighting for? Who y'all fighting for? Who is this supposed to improve? Who?
Who this?
Like, on the other side, like, who is this for? Explain to me. Who is this for? Who is this supposed to feel good for? Not for me. But, it's for minorities. Minorities don't give a damn about what's going on here. About Twitch? What? Like, who? Like, I'm here for the jokes. I'm here for gameplay. I'm here to fall asleep in the middle of the day if I choose to. I'm here for the content.
Oh man.
Also, hold on. How long we been talking for? It seemed like a while.
It's been a while. It's been like an hour and 8 minutes.
Okay, I want to end this on one thing.
Go on.
Seems like the PlayStation fanboys are really out there now.
Are you talking about like what happened with the Last of Us Part 2?
The Last of Us, and then like the Unreal
Unreal Engine.
Yeah, that whole thing. Like, I'm like, okay, and they just like dunking super hard on like Xbox people. Oh yeah, you see this on Engine, blah blah blah. They can't wait to be on PlayStation 4, and people like, yo, it's going to be on both platforms. And...
You're talking about PlayStation fanboys about doing that stuff. Okay, yeah.
I'm just like, fam, just enjoy the game. Like, it looks cool, but at like the same time, like, is that a game that you really like? Oh yeah, I really want to do something like that, traversal door, like into the mountains and everything else. No, you want something Call of Duty, like, homie, don't play that. Don't play that game. That game was shit.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing with the Uncharted thing too, I'm just like, it's such a sad thing seeing like they spoiled the entire thing. I haven't been spoiled by it, by the way, so I'm not gonna mention anything about what happens or whatever. From what I can tell, like something happens in Uncharted. I mean, it's Uncharted, but Last of Us 2 that people didn't like, and I don't know. That's all I can say.
Oh, well, that whole thing is like, oof.
Yeah.
That seemed like that was crunch.
Yeah, it's such an awful thing. I'm just like, they work so hard, and people are like, oh, now everything's been spoiled for us, so we don't have to, get this
Yeah.
game. I'm like, damn.
That's the idea of crunch. Crunch came in. Crunch was like, yo, fam, we need to get this done. And a lot of people was like, will we get paid for it? And he was like, paid? You already paid. And yeah, I'm like, oh boy. Ooh.
So will I get the Last of Us Part 2? I'm pretty sure I will. Just because I gotta see how this thing ends. And I haven't been spoiled yet, so that's pretty good. And will I get the other one too, Ghost of Tsushima? I think I will. Those are the
Ghost of Tsushima looks good.
Those are the two dying games that the PlayStation 4 will have before the PS5 gets released in later this year.
Oh, don't get me wrong, Ghost of Tsushima looks really, really good.
Yeah, that looks great.
It looks really great. And I only have to say is like, I wait until the PS5 version.
Well, it's when you're talking about like people are like, oh yeah, the Unreal Engine 5 looks so great, and it's like, Microsoft owns.
Yeah, Microsoft owned this, right? You know that, right?
I don't know. For me, it's like really dumb when I see like hardcore fanboyism for stuff like that. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man. Especially like when, because like they lost. Well, I don't know if they lost it, but they had exclusivity for Yakuza, and then even during the Xbox, like their whole presentation thing, one of their big selling was like, hey, we're getting on a Series X Yakuza 7, and people were so mad. Like, this was supposed to be for PlayStation. I'm just like, Jesus. Calm down.
But like, fam, calm down. Everything else, just be happy that anyone could play a good Yakuza game.
Yeah.
And it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
But no, man, it's supposed to be all on me, man. It's supposed to be we supposed to get it. Nothing for those, X whatever. I was like, why y'all so mad all the time? I was like, I'm glad that I'm glad that I didn't like. I'm like, yo, fam, I'm not on that hill. I'm on the hill of enjoying video games. That's what hill I am about. If you got a good video game, I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
If you don't have no good video game, I'm not going to enjoy it.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
But don't be like, yeah, Xbox is great, this and that. No, PlayStation, but the Wii is great. It's like, no, every video game is good and great. It's just the entertainment value. If you enjoy it, you enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Who is this trying to reach me on Messenger? He's like, someone's trying to reach you on Messenger. I'm like, no.
Remember there was also a big crusade against mobile phone players, and Tunless was like, oh yeah, I'm a gamer. That whole thing.
Yeah.
That was such an old school. I was like, wow, I remember that. Now it's just like, yeah, even if you play mobile, it's like, not the preferred way to do it. I wouldn't like sit myself down and play like extensive like games, like, because you can get like what do you call it, Dead Cells on your phone, but I'm just like, that's just so, I can't do that. I can't just like casually like, oh, you put on Dead Cells, play the phone on the screen, with the controls on it. I was like, I can't do that.
Stadia.
Stadia.
Yeah, that thing is a disaster.
It went down like the Ouya, which is like, oh yeah, that was a thing.
Ooh.
Remember the Ouya?
Yeah, that was it. I remember Ouya. Alex had the Ouya. Alex, you should come on the podcast and defend your Ouya.
Yeah, defend the Ouya. Next episode, the rise of the Ouya.
Yeah, like, you listen to us right now during quarantine. You're not having nothing else to do.
Damn.
Defend your Ouya, sir. Defend it.
I will. I did forget to message him this month. So I will definitely message him sometime. Just be like, hey man.
I will personally send him a message right after this and be like, Alex, come on the podcast next Saturday.
We need you to talk about the Ouya.
we need you, Alex, so you defend your Ouya statement. Ouya.
So like the Ouya, the Stadia, and then the Wii U, they were in our, and at least in our current time, where we're just like, yeah, those were those didn't do so good, huh? They still have those people that still watch, that still play them, but man,
do they really play them, or do they play themselves?
I don't know. Did you see those like videos about with like high-paid YouTubers that are saying like, "Oh my god, I'm playing this on Stadia and it looks really good. Oh man, this is so great," and then they were just getting paid for it, so you really couldn't take their word on it.
Exactly. Oh my god, it's so good on Stadia. I think you guys should get it. Stadia.
That is kind of funny though. I wasn't being one of those backers like, "Oh yeah, here you go, kickstart this." Anyways, yeah, we will see you all next week, and hopefully we'll have our a special guest with us, because it would be fun. We'll ask. Well, the thing is, like, he's like 2 hours behind us, right? So we'd have to like.
So I'll say 11 o'clock. At his time should be good.
I think like 11 o'clock our time would be like 9 a.m. his time. Like, Alex, get on 9 a.m. We want to hear your tired voice. But yeah, we'll get that rolling. We'll see what happens. Go to our Facebook, facebook.com/the dead pixels of the internet. All our pages are belong to. No, it's just go there, and then you can like the page, and then we'll give you a shout out next episode. Go to Twitter. Mine's at Chomanuel.
Mine's at Broken Instagram.
Go to our YouTube, Dead Pixels Internet. Go to go on you.
The Spirit Tree of Chicago. If you ask me, have I doing any recordings during quarantine? No, man. This is a mental break.
Go to our Spotify. Go to our Stitcher Radio.
Stitcher Radio, Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, I've been checking in on our Spotify. We're doing pretty good on there. I'm like, wow, people are listening on it. But they're doing some like listening to stuff like, man, that was like 3 years ago. What the hell?
Well, it's good. Well, I have to say, if they find us, I would like to thank them. Yeah. Just keep on listening.
Keep on listening. Keep circulating the tapes. Anyways, well, we'll figure this out again. Hey, Alex, I dare you to take us out next time. All right, there we go. This has been Dead Pixels of the Internet. Trying to do this since 2011.